So let's take this hard count meeting all the way out to College Station, Texas, and have a State of the Union with what's going on with Mike Elko, the 12th man. Because Mike Elko, coming to College Station, when he got hired, we were fans of it. We were fans of it, and we're fans of it because we think it provides a lot of what Texas A&M needs in the long term. We'll talk more about that in a second. The current state at Texas A&M is extremely talented. Like, there's a lot made about how they've underachieved under Jimbo Fisher and about, everything with how their student section is and the traditions and all these things around Texas A&M, and that's fine. But, like, at the end of the day, they have a roster in place that can really do some damage. Okay, top 20 in returning production from a season ago is Texas A&M. Okay, so what Mike Elko is dealing with here is by no means an empty deck. All right, he's got a lot of pieces here to do some really good things. Connor Wegman, I think, is set to be one of the better quarterbacks in the SEC, if not the country, next year, based on his talent and the way that he could trend. And with all that talent comes more expectations. Like, I want to revisit this. I think people feel like A&M fans are a little bit entitled because they talk about competing for SEC championships and college football playoff appearances and all that. And there's some portion of the crowd that is saying, well, why? Why do y'all expect that? You haven't won anything in a minute here. Well, the more reasonable, I think, fan, the more reasonable college football mind would say, well, they expect that because of what they've put into it. The way that college football is structured right now, the care factor that you have can make the most impact than it ever has before across the sport. Like, if I'm giving to my school when it comes to helping NIL resources and facilities and whatever you want to talk about, if you're giving resources to your football team, you expect to get something out of that. A&M, they have a care factor that is as good as anywhere else in the country. And so with that care factor, again, comes expectations. If I have the right input, at some point in time, I'm going to expect the right output. And they haven't had the right output just yet. So you kind of look at the machine, pop the hood on that thing, get a new head coach in there and Mike Elko. Okay, now we might be cooking here. And the reason why I'm so excited about A&M in 2024, we talked about it a little bit yesterday, but the problem with A&M has never been on paper with this roster. They've recruited well. Yes, the portal has hit them a little bit. That's fine. I still think they've got a really talented roster, one of the better rosters in the SEC. It's not a paper issue for A&M. And so if it's not a paper issue, where is the issue? If you're asking me, I think it's I think it's rather pointing back to getting the most out of what's on paper. Okay, so getting the most out of what's on paper, who does that fall on? Your coaching staff. Most notably, your head coach. And this isn't me throwing shade at Jimbo Fisher, but it didn't work the last couple of seasons. Mike Elko brings to the table a resume of doing more with less, a guy who is known for structure, known for culture. And if you provide the right structure to this roster at A&M, there's no telling what they could be. There's a reason that win total for them is right around 8.5. Okay, they expect them to potentially do some really good things in 2024. So just so we're on the same page, the expectations for A&M, not going anywhere. There is no resetting of the standard and saying, oh, well, it's year one, give him a second. There might be some patience when it comes to him putting it together. There is not going to be a resetting of expectations. Like 6-6 next year will not be anywhere near good enough for the folks in College Station. Going back to what I just said, the input and what they have on this roster is good enough to win now. Can Mike Elko get it done? I'm excited to see. They're one of those teams now that could kind of pop out of nowhere where it's like, oh yeah, that was always there the whole time. They just had to put it together the right way. That's A&M in 2024. So I'm excited to watch them, man. They're one of the most, I don't know if sneaky is the right word. Anytime you've an 8.5 preseason win total, I don't think you're sneaky, but I do think there's a lot to be excited about in College Station. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.